Published. Right. Live and Rebbe like got up from his chair and said, "I'm going to sit. Let me get that safer from my office." Got up and went. It's classic, man.
Yeah, what safer do we have?
It was from London.
What?
London.
Just quick.
And it was a whole India. Maybe other sex, like always they tell their story at the end is never you gotta listen to it. I'm not taking it away from you, gotta listen. It was very little mind blowing. Just to say the least. I'm still very. How you doing? Good. Hot station. I'm here at this place. I said I'm here at this place. Can you do that? Got everything. I have everything.
But I was just saying,
I'm very upset about it. I protested. I abstained. When the vote came up, I abstained. Let's put this way.
Louder.
Talking about somebody deserves a full holiday, Right there. Motion.
I want to give Yashikar to the Parnas Yom Yehuda Behar, Li'u Nishmas Shmuel ben Eliezer, the Shamash ben Aliyah, and Li'u Nishmas of Gedaliah ben Reb Shimon, the Shamash ben Aliyah, Shnali Simcha Nachis and Roch. So every now and then, I like to show the connection between what we're learning in Ayaka and the Ksavim from Rav Kook. This is still officially our Rav Kook time. And everything in Ayaka is mushrash, is rooted deeply in the teachings of Rav Kook. And there's a wonderful collection of teachings of Rav Kook that were found in different journals of his personal writings. Whether they were all meant to be published is not clear, but these are all personal reflections as opposed to teachings. These are personal reflections, and there's very remarkable, autobiographical revelations in this collection. It's taken from different places that we have in his Ksavim. That's called Chadarav. This came out probably already 20 years ago, Chadarav. And and it was just translated by Rabbi Tzal Naor. I don't know if it's in the stores yet. They sent me a copy.
Somewhere on there.
Yeah, you got it already. So it's called Chadar, his inner chambers, Chadar, and it's something that's like, really. If I say the word special, it would be it's a remarkable collection of to be able to have a peek into the heart, into the mind of a tzaddik like this. So I just wanted to begin today with one tiny piece from Chadarov. And he never wrote a sefer called Chadarov. It's a collection. So you have the English and Hebrew. We'll just do the English, and then we'll go back. We'll go into Ayaka, because this is really, in this small piece, it's really contained in this small piece is all that we've been learning about these past few weeks, and we're continuing to learn about it in Ayaka. Ein adam kaina shum maila. One does not acquire any maila, any excellence, any madrega, other than from one's midst. Ki imi torchiyusa. Any true maila, any true madrega of a person is only acquired really from within oneself. Mitochiyusa. From one's inner essence. Mi'atzmuso hamahusis hapnimis. Mi'mahuso mi'atzmuso hamahusis hapnimis. Not from the external. Not from the external. Lo mimasha bol mi bachutz. Now he translates ki hamikrim. He translates as accidents. It's a little bit of an odd translation. Respectfully, I mean he does a job that none of us could do in translating Rav Kook's writings. But I'm not so sure that I would call this accident a mikra. We all know what a mikra means. It's something that's not. It's not a reflection of the essential. Okay, but the word mikra is hard to translate. Not. So one does not acquire any excellence other than from one's midst, from the toichis and the pnimis, one's inner essence, not from the external. For accidents do not produce true happiness. Accidents means that, for instance, it's a nice day. The week has been pretty rainy and gloomy, right? It's been a pretty dark week, and the sun came out. And that's cause for happiness. Huh? There's a very, very strong correlation between sunny weather and a good mood. But everybody knows that that's a mikra. So that's what it means. Meaning an accident. The word accident is a little funny, but mikra is mikra. It means tough. It's not a mikra because Hashem makes the sun shine. But there's nothing in the world that's a mikra. So that's why I don't like the word accident so much. It sounds like it's something that's not hashgach. But, so the sun is shining. So that's great. So now everybody's going to walk out. All right, it's not particularly warm out today, but we're getting there. At least it's not raining and cloudy and dark and all of that. So you're going to walk out, you're going to sing a little spring niggin. And, Pesach is on its way. It's Rosh Chodesh Nisan this week. The sun is shining, and you're going to go to Shabbos in a great mood. Until something else happens, and then something else happens. Whatever. If you're a parent, whatever the kid, whatever happened with the kid, something happens with the kid. If you're married, husband or wife, Indian, it could be something just like spills or breaks or the regular things in life, and then the fact that the mikra, the sun is shining right now. Achshav yesh mikra acher. You understand? So now there's another accident. There's something else. So what Rav Kook is saying is that accidents, mikrim, do not produce true happiness. They produce, at best, fleeting, very shallow happiness. Right? You're enjoying that coffee right now? Right? It's going to be finished. You're almost finished, or tea, whatever it is. chocolate, milk. You're going to be finished in a minute or two, and again, that's it. It feels good right now. Everybody's got their cups out. They got how come the girls don't have so much? Because they're up longer davening. So the cup, but then the cup that's a third, then it's half, then it's finished. So the whole thing of the coffee makes you feel good. It's nice, a warm feeling. It's a cold morning. It feels good. Then it's done, and then it's done. So that's true happiness. Shas ma'aseh b'mikra. This was a nice thing, and it made you happy. The word happiness isn't even matim. It's not even really. But that's what Rav Kook says. Eina molidim es ha'oisher ha'amiti. Things that come from the outside, as exciting as wonderful as they are, like people are going to be going for $150,000 to some island somewhere to get happy, to be happy on some happy island. There's a Gilligan and the professor. They're going to go and get happy. Not everybody knows that's it. So they're going to go there to get happy. And so then it's like you're packing your suitcase. I wonder what that feels like. Like it's after all that money and like another like 20 pounds. And you're packing this suitcase that lasts like morning in the hotel, and you have to get to the cab or you get whatever to go to the airport, and you're packing. What does that feel like? So, mimikra. What does that feel like? So I just blew so much money and had 14,000 fights and arguments, and I still have to tip a couple of people and whatever, all these post Pesach thoughts that never a part of Yitzias Mitzrayim, ready like that. So you had your vacation. You saved up the whole year, and you went someplace. And this was the program of the century. This is unbelievable. You're not going to be sad for 1 minute on this program. This is the most exciting program. It's the theme of being in Egypt and everything. This is unbelievable. So the accidents do not produce true happiness. They just don't. And those are silly so-called accidents. Those are silly accidents. But even something like depending upon your marriage to make you happy, that's a serious mikra. That's very serious. Depending upon your kids' good behavior, or having good kids, or how about Bechlal getting married, or Bechlal having children. Not everybody gets married, not everybody has kids. So all of those are mikrim. Not mikrim because it's not, God forbid, accidents. There's no Ashgacha Pratis. Hashem is above us. But mikrim meaning they're external to who you are. Even though you love your husband, you love your wife, you love your kids, and you have this deep, deep inner love for them, but chol zos, they are external to your true happiness. But that's not how most people live. They live with the hope and expectation that through this externality, I'm going to have internal happiness, everlasting happiness, permanent happiness. Doesn't seem to be working like that. Sometimes a little bit more, sometimes less, sometimes it can last longer, and so on and so forth. But again, let's review this end. One does not acquire any excellence other than from one's midst, toichius, from inside of oneself, from one's inner essence, not from the external. For accidents do not produce true happiness. Now, the snake in Gan Eden was selling an external package of true happiness. That's how it all began. But instead of, and that's what we learned from Rav Kook. That's Ayaka. When Hashem asked Adam and Chava, "Where are you?" The snake that began with the snake. Where the snake said, "Here is true happiness. Here it is. There's a package of true happiness," and Adam and Chava was saying, "Happiness is not here." And the snake said, "No, happiness is here. Here is happiness. If you have this, then you will be happy." That was the chait of Gan Eden, of Adam and Chava. And that's the voice of the nachash of the snake. That ki'ilu it's possible for a person to attain true happiness through mikrim that are not mitoch so they're not from within the self, but are michutz lo, outside of the self. Yeah.
So Gan Eden itself is the Gan Eden inside you? Not
Yes.
necessarily the-
Yes. Yeah, that's why I told you many times over this. We a Maisa from the Yismach Moshe Association, and I'll just remind you. The Yismach Moshe, his mind was always with Mashiach and Olam Haba. He was one of his inyanim, and he always wanted to know what's like in Olam Hamas. So once Hashem Yisbarach showed him in a dream the Olam Hamas at that moment, and the Olam Hamas he saw in his dream a couple of old tzaddikim sitting around a broken table on a bench learning Gemara. So Yismach Moshe had a Chalisas Adas. And he said in his dream, he said, Takash Baruch Hu, that's what I've been doing my whole life here. That's all I do is I sit around the broken table with a couple of Jews and I learn Gemara. So Takash Baruch Hu's answer to that was, Gan Eden is inside of you. That's all. Gan Eden is not a place where you live, it's a place that lives within you. What you don't see is what their matzav is at that table in Gan Eden. You don't see that. So the externalities, the outside of Gan Eden, so we think it's going to be like, palm trees and stuff. People always associate that with being more relaxed, although you could be nervous with palm trees too. But there is this association that we have since we were kids, probably going back to Gilligan's Island, so we think Gan Eden's going to be like that, and I used to think when I was a kid, like fiberglass backboards. I don't know what that means either, because we never had that. It was only like the Goyim had that. So there are things that you associate with Gan Eden that are outside of you. So Hashem said to Yisrael Moshe, he said, Reb Moshe, the Indian of Gan Eden is not the location. It's not the environment. The Indian of Gan Eden is a matzav ruach. Gan Eden is inside of you. It's not outside of you. The same way that Gehenna, a person could be living where everything is Gan Eden dick around him, but him inside of himself is Gehenna. So then, what is the Gan Eden? It's nothing. Because Gan Eden and Gehenna is inside of a person. So now Rav Kook asks a question. It's a very, very obvious question, and this is what we've been talking about the past few weeks. But the Torah and commandments, but is it the Torah and mitzvahs are the essence of happiness? In Atzmius Oisha, Yiddishkeit, Torah and mitzvahs is Atzmius Oisha, and do they not come to one from outside? My tefillin is not. My tefillin is on the table. Shabbos is a point in time outside of me. So, of course, it's a rhetorical question, but it's a question. We just got finished saying that you can't find happiness outside of yourself. You can only find it inside of yourself. But Torah and mitzvahs are outside of myself. The Gemara that I'm learning is outside of me. The mitzvah, the mitzvah that I'm doing is something that's outside of me. So, of course, the answer is. However, when we examine Kashin is Boinein Nimtza, we find that one apprehends of the Torah and the commandments only that which is hidden in one's interior. That's a very, very deep sentence, and that's what that's what we're learning now. Shekol echad masig mehaTorah mitzvahs. What each person understands in Torah and mitzvahs, through his learning Torah and his observing mitzvahs, what each person has masig, what each person connects to, is rak mashet sofim b'pnimiyuso. It's only that which is. It's only through the connection by force of the Torah speaking to what's inside of you. And the mitzvah already being implanted inside. That it's within us. Therefore, a person really apprehends the Torah only that which is hidden in one's interior. Rak mashet sofan b'pnimiyusa. It's not something which is outside. Torah mitzvah is not something which is outside. It's not tabasochem, it's inside. And whatever we're doing on the outside is just a reminder of what's inside. It's just to be able to access and to connect to what's inside. It's not outside. It looks like it's outside because you're holding the safe, and the safe is not. The safe is not. But the emphasis, the truth is, another person can, let's say, learn that same safe, and it doesn't speak to him inside. That particular Torah for that particular moment in his life might not be softened beside, might not have its makar inside the person at that moment for whatever reason. It's not important to go into right now. Furthermore, in general, man encompasses all of existence. Ha'adam makif es kol ha'havaya. As it's brought down already in the Kadmani, that a person is not Olam Katan. So on some level, all of reality is inside of a person. So in that respect, we could say that my children, my spouse, on some level, since men and all of creation is this kaimus ha'adam, that man encompasses all of existence, and the Torah and the commandments, Torah and mitzvahs, which are the very essence of the laws of existence, because everybody knows Hashem gazed into the Torah and created the world. So all of creation is really Torah. That's why Avram Avinu was able to know the Torah by looking at his own body from within himself. It says that his kloyos and his kidneys became fountains of wisdom. I don't know what that means. His kidneys means that be'etzem, since the Torah is the essence of creation, and all of creation is from the Torah, means that really all of existence is, since it's in the Torah and it comes from the Torah, and the Torah is woven into the person, is the person's a Jew's existence, a Jew's creation. And the Torah and the mitzvahs, which are the very essence of the laws of existence, chukei chai, chukei havai, are included in man, klulois hein bo. So by cleaving to the Torah mitzvahs, shemizdabik behen, he's actually cleaving to himself. And the truth is, and of course this is the yesod of Chassidus, one can cleave to God through a sunny day. And when you do that, you're cleaving to your deepest essence, as opposed to just being in a good mood because it's sunny out. But if you connect that sunshine to where it comes from, in other words, if it's not an accident, if you don't perceive it as an accident, but you perceive it as elokus, so then it's not outside of it. And that can, and then the sunlight can make you truly happy. It can't make you happy just as sunshine, because it's a mikveh, it's over there. Comes, it goes. But if that sunshine is in your, if that sunshine touches the sunshine within yourself, which is elokus, that is the creation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is at that moment personally sending you a blast of His light to give you a feeling of Simchas Chaim, that could be something which is real. One second, that's not an accident. That's not a mikveh. That's because there is no such thing as a mikveh. The emes is no mikveh. So, what Rav Kook is saying is the Torah and the commandments are very essence of the laws of existence are included in men. So by cleaving to Torah mitzvahs, he's actually cleaving to himself. Cleaving to Torah mitzvahs, Hashem is Baruch. And your dveik is to the learning, to the Torah that you're learning, and your dveik is to to the matzah and the maror. Being misdabek to the mitzvahs, which means Takadosh Baruch Hu, as we're learning. So that's not outside of yourself. That's not bechlal outside of yourself. You're actually cleaving to Himself because that's who you are. The emes, each one of us is a walking Sefer Torah, is Torah mitzvahs. Each one of us is all of these farm. Each one of us. So by learning the Sefer and learning it l'shma in the right way, you're not studying something outside of yourself. By being mekam the mitzvah, the tefillin is outside of you, it's physically outside of you, but it comes from within you. And on a deeper level, as Rav Kook writes here, all of creation is man. So you could be, but if you experience that as something which is not elokus, then it's external, then it's outside of you. And something which is outside of you, we could call an accident, a mikra. And a mikra, an accident, it's outside of you. Accidents cannot make you happy. They just don't make you happy. When it's something which is mitochiyusa, mi'atzmusa hamahusis, that brings you simcha. So if you had that connection to your wife, to your husband, to your kid, that could be a simcha, simchas Hashem. That could be a simcha that's real. That's not an accident. That's something which is real. He's actually cleaving to himself. He says, "Hari misdabik b'atzmiyusa," and when through them one comes to cleave to Hashem. That's what I was saying about even the sunshine. You come to cleave to Hashem through those, but especially through Torah mitzvahs. He's talking about Torah mitzvahs, but especially through Torah mitzvahs, but through your learning. If your learning is Leman Hashem, if your mitzvahs are Leman Hashem, they're not outside of you. You're connecting to the deepest part of who you are. They're inside of you. Then one certainly finds one's essence. You find your essence. The answer to the question of Ayeka. You find it. For our entire essence is only in the source of our being in Hashem. For our entire essence, ki kol atzmiyuseinu hirak b'mekor haviyaseinu. For our entire essence is only in the source of our being in God. Let's just finish the talk. Be'elokim, in Hashem. The source of all that is. Makar kol hayesh. Hashem is a makar kol hayesh, including the sunlight. It's a makar kol hayesh. But especially the Torah mitzvahs. Makar kol hayesh. Where it's ready, steps forward. You don't have to make so many connections. There's the Torah mitzvahs. It's very, very obvious. In truth, we are found essentially only in Him. Hinenum nimtsoim be'emes b'mahusius ha'amitis rakbo. The person can only find himself essentially in Him. This is a historical piece of Torah. You have to work it over on Shabbos. In truth, we are found essentially only in Him. Essentially. Otherwise, hakol mikra, everything is called accidentally. Because there is only one etzem and only one mahus, which is elokus, which is Hashem. Everything else that you find is called, outside is called incidentally or accidentally, but not essentially. In truth, we are found essentially only in Him. Outside of Him, umichutzla, and this is tough to translate, but umichutzla hinenu rak kilute hamikrius. Rav Kook writes in such a way. Absorptions of accidents. That's pretty good. Absorptions of accidents. Kilute means to absorb. To be collate something means to absorb something. He says, without Hashem, all a person is like a sponge that absorbs accidents. Think about that. Wow. You're just a sponge that absorbs accidents. You happen to be in this place, so you absorb that accident, that mikra of the place you're in right now. Brother took a cup of coffee, or it's a nice sunny day. So you absorb, because a person's like a sponge, and wherever you walk, you just absorb these accidents. That's all. And the second that somebody upsets you, it's like squeezing the sponge, and then the sunshine goes away. That's all. What happened? You were in such a good mood. It was like you were whistling a niggin and walking on the street. It's a beautiful sunny day. Forget about being in New York. You're walking in the old city. An Arab-free old city, and you're walking in the up to the Kaisel. It's a beautiful day, a beautiful sunny day, and the mamish is unbelievable. And then, like, somebody that you don't like says, "Hey," and then pulls you over, and you get annoyed, and you're all upset. And in 1 second, this accident just, the accident of the pleasure that you had wasn't from the pneumius of the Kaisel. It was from the whole matzav. So then in 1 second, this guy that you don't want to see, or whatever it is, or something happened, right? Whatever happened, some silliness happened, whatever happened, right away the sponge gets pressed, and then the accident comes out. So then what about the nice sunny day in the old city? So it's no different than a sunny day in Woodmere. Something squeezes you the wrong way, and the accident spills out. So, because all it was an accident. It was incidental to who you are. And that's why it's possible for a person to daven in the morning and then an hour later at work to be stealing someone's money. What is that? How could that be? You just were davening, and then an hour later you're a ganav. And if not a ganav, then something else, lashon hara, chayes, whatever it is. We all have our inyanim. So it's an hour later, you just were davening. So that's what Rav Kook is saying. If our entire essence is only in the source of our being in God, the source of all that is, in truth we are found essentially only in Him. Outside of Him we are but absorptions of accidents. Kilute hamikrios. Put that on like a t-shirt. Kilute hamikrios. Absorptions of accidents. Zehu. They come, they go. You get squeezed, you get pushed, the accident spills out. There are other ways. Let's say you have some negative accident. So then they find some kind of maybe something to push that out. Okay? So you have something negative, and that can get squeezed out in a different way. It could be a pill. All kinds of medications to try to deal with the absorptions. But a person, any true life, essential life, is only in Him. Outside of Him, we are but absorptions of accidents. And of course, like always, Rav Kook ends, Nafshi ivisicha balayla, my soul. He's speaking to his own neshama. My soul, nafshi ivisicha balayla. Now, the way that you could the translation is, my soul is longing for Hashem in the night. But listen, look how Rav Kook, understand how Rav Kook learns this pasuk. Nafshi ivisicha balayla. Now, in the English, Rabbi Sal Noah wrote in English, my soul, I desired you with a capital Y. Meaning Hashem. And he's right. Because my soul is Hashem. So my soul, nafshi, what the Navi is calling out is nafshi, ivisicha balayla. That my longing for my soul is my longing for God. Nafshi, ivisicha balayla. Afruchi bekirbi ashahareka. Even my spirit in my midst, I sought you. You meaning Hashem. In my spirit, in my ruach, I seek you. In my nefesh, I seek you. because that's who I am. That's my essential self. In my nafshi ivisicha balayla, afruchi bekirbi ashachareka. My soul, I desired you by night. Hashem, my soul, I desired you by night. Because that's the only way you could find yourself. Is through him. Is by him. Because he is all that you are. Even my spirit in my midst, I sought you. In my spirit, in my midst. Because that's the tochius of the person. I sought you, Hashem. I'm seeking you. How do I find Hashem? Not outside. Inside. In myself, I find you. What about everything else that's outside? The truth is, Rav Kook is saying, the truth is that there is nothing really outside of God. Truthfully, there's nothing outside of God. Therefore, when you understand that and you live that way, then you could seek your soul and Hashem in the sunshine. In something which is otherwise a mikra. You could seek him there too. And that's how the tzaddikim live. With that search, being in that perpetual search, that connection. That's how they lived. Chadva.
Rabbi, so according to Rav Kook, Chizur mitzvah is all internal. The perfect etrog is in me.
Yes, that's why the Chazal say the esrog is the heart and the
Right.
So
The people who
you still have to bench esrog.
right. So buying the most expensive thing, Chizur mitzvah, it's all within me.
It's much easier to buy a beautiful esrog than to have the beautiful esrog inside of you. Right. But one doesn't take away from the other. It's an expression. The esrog that you're buying is an expression of the esrog that's inside of you. But the esrog, the pneumius.
So what about the reverse? If you buy the perfect esrog, but inside of you, you're not so great? Is the etrog?
So the esrog is still a beautiful esrog, and you have the schar of doing a very, very nice mitzvah. But the esrog, in truth, is blemished by your internal blemishes. Our esrogim are affected by our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
So if your heart is blemished, so then the esrog, even though everybody in shul is admiring it, but the truth is that the esrog is blemished. Our mitzvahs are a reflection of the pneumius of those mitzvahs. It's not a good question, yeah.
Rabbi, you mentioned the example of a person, use the example of walking, in the sunshine in Yerushalayim, the old city, and that makes them happy naturally. And then they could see something, a person they don't like, antagonist, and then the opposite. But how do you, according to Rav Kook, how do you see that antagonist and still be internally happy? Because naturally,
that's good,
you
very
have
good.
A revulsion in the person.
That's very good. The only way to do that is if you see that as not being an accident. Why did Hashem Yisbarach want me to meet this Ludnik, right? So Hashem Yisbarach wanted to meet here's like the happiest day of the year for me. I got away for a couple of days. I'm on my way walking to the castle, right? And then I hear that voice, Kol Dodi Hinei. So what do I do with that? The Torah says, how does that become part of my march to the Koso? The Torah says, the moment that I recognize that as not being a mikra, but God Himself speaking to me, because He wants me to uplift myself and my way of looking at this person and to see him in a way perhaps I have not looked at him before, because in the past I'm always looking at him in this place and that place, and now I'm seeing him in the shadow of the Kosel, and maybe he's not such a nundig like I thought. And maybe he went through a lot of stuff in his life that's causing him to be annoying. And maybe he's a tzaddik, much bigger tzaddik than I am. If a person is able to take that moment and to connect it to Elokus, and to hear Hashem speaking to him, and that could really be Kol Dodi, and he hears Hashem speaking to him, then it does not have to conflict or take away the happiness of heading towards the Kosel. You could lift up that moment in Elokus, and you could go even stronger to daven by the Kosel. Because I didn't let that guy get me down. Because the truth of the matter is he's not a bad guy. He's really not a bad guy. It's my own inyanim that I have problems with him, and he's not a bad guy. Because there was no bad Jew. So it's my own inyanim. It's my inyanim. So I have to, if I lift that up, and I make it shezelo b'mikra, It's not incidental. It's essential to my Hashem. In his eternal wisdom knows Hashem that this meeting that I have with this guy is essential to my life right now. It's not an accident. It's essential. Then I can take that to the Koso. If I look at this meeting as being, oh my goodness, an accident. That's why I guess accident is a good word. Right? If I look at this as being an accident, it's incidental. And it's an interruption to my life. So I'm angry. I'm annoyed. It messes up my whole experience. That's the only way to do it. And it's true. Hashem did arrange that. That's a shidduch. There's no such thing as an accident. Because the whole world is Elokus. Everything is Elokus. This is a Chassidish paragraph here, beginning to end.
Rav Kook had no shortage of antagonists.
Oh my goodness. And the way that he handled, the way he dealt with it. How many of those most hateful people, the ones who made his life miserable, the things that they did to him, were the beneficiaries of his tzedakah and his getting them visas or for his family members. Who took care of all of that stuff? People that threw from the toilet on his head, which is mamish happened. From a merpeset that dumped from the toilet on his head. And he takes care of the whole family's visas to bring them. Because he lived with God every single step that he took. And that's the only way that works. It doesn't work otherwise. Yeah.
I just was thinking as we started going through this Torah and the external part of the mitzvah, like putting on tefillin. So, to take the first, like basically the first step and say, this is external, but I'm connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu inside. But it's so much deeper. It makes me part of HaKadosh Baruch Hu when I put that tefillin on.
Absolutely.
It puts me in a different place. Just a pathway to him. It makes me part of him.
Right. And that's why Chazal say that Hashem puts on tefillin. I mean, Hashem's tefillin is Am Yisrael. Am Yisrael's tefillin is Hashem. But Hashem Echad. So there's no separation. And it's like that with every mitzvah. It's just with the tefillin, because the tefillin is filled with Hashem's names. It's much more obvious. The sukkah is also Hashem's names. And if you go beyond the tefillin, the sukkah, the truth is, so in the tefillin, the names of Hashem, so it's a chepsha, it's Tashmish Kedush, it's a piece of tefillin, a Sefer Torah, has Hashem's names all over the place. But this one said the sukkah is also filled with Hashem's names. And then when you go beyond that, the sunlight is also Hashem's names. It's all Elokus. And then you go with that and you think about how, therefore, this is not truly outside of me. This is truly me, and that's what it means. Nafshi ivisicha balayla afruchi bekirbi ashachar. Nafshi ivisicha balayla. My soul, I desired you, Hashem. You, my soul is you, by night. It's not two separate mitzias. It's the same. It's one mitzias. It's one mitzias. That's a completely revolutionary way, different way of looking at everything in life. So the one who lives his or her life outside of oneself and seeing Yiddishkeit as being outside, so then the mitzvahs themselves become like a chore. Davening is a chore. Mitzvahs are a chore. It's just like stuff that I got to do. Things that I have to do. It's not who I am, it's things that I have to do. Would I rather not do? Yeah, Tachnu was canceled, it's great. If no Yontif Sheni, whoa. So when you see your Yiddishkeit as something outside of you, so then it's just it's okay. It's still a chashuv thing that you do it, but that's how Rav Kook began this Torah. He says that for accidents do not produce true happiness. Accidents do not produce true happiness. So, if you look at your life as being filled with accidents, your marriage, your this, your that, there's all accidents. Doesn't mean an accident that that somehow you ended up under the chuppah. I mean, you sent an invitation. But if you look at that as an accident, so then it cannot be a source of true happiness. It can be a source of entertainment. It can be a source of fleeting pleasure. But true happiness is only nafshi v'sicha b'layla. Nafshi v'sicha b'layla. Okay, we'll stop here. I have a meeting with somebody, and Hashem will continue inside Ayeka next direction. Good Shabbos, everybody.